All right. We're here. Hi.
We're here.
I know.
We
We've
made it.
finally done it. You and I have been, I don't know, planning, plotting, thinking.
How can we make this work for so
Right?
long?
I know.
And we're here.
Grab your microphone, put it up to your face because I
Ooh,
want everybody to hear you. You're
we gotta get
amazing.
used to this.
I know, right?
The
Even if we move the
pressure.
hot heater between us and come closer.
Let's go.
There.
Okay.
I know
All
it's got
right.
a little bit of an erectile dysfunction, but it's all right. It's okay.
Oh, I'll get it to work. Don't you worry.
So Lauren is filling in for Hank today. Thank you so much for taking on the call. I sent out the bat signal and she replied.
Thank you for having me. I hope I'm very honored to be sitting in Hank's seat right now.
I'm
The
beyond
hot
thrilled.
seat.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Oh, lower down
Thank
your volume. I was like, why do I hear me again?
Let's turn this right off.
So
Such an
Lauren,
amateur.
no, hey, whatever. We're here, we're learning, and we're gonna have a good morning. Oh, we've got comments already. Good morning, Ashley. Thank you for joining us. Hello. Yes, Lauren is filling in for Hank today. Hank is fine. He's got a doctor's appointment. This is scheduled. This was planned. He will be playing with us on Thursday. So we're just gonna put him to Thursday, and we're not going to talk about Hank's appointment until I get him in the hot seat. That I can be weird. Because it always makes Hank feel very uncomfortable. And I love that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's loved. It's great to see Hank squirm.
I know, right? So, Lauren, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We had our first Christmas market over the weekend, and you just brought the fun.
What a blast.
If you ever see Oplaysis Spaces anywhere and you're like, what is it? It is fun. It is joyful. And it doesn't matter how old you are. The amount of children that were immediately in our space was magical.
It's incredible. And I think the greatest part too is once you put yourself out there and you see the kids doing it, pay attention. You'll see all the adults jumping in too. They were dancing with ribbons. Like
I
they
loved
were
it.
having such a good time.
Yeah. She is a magical face painter. Like your art is so incredible. I'm glad that you're right beside me because I really want to talk about your story, not just your entrepreneurial story, but just your story in general, because I'm just so fascinated. And when you meet somebody in their adulthood and you get like the bits and pieces of their life, you don't have that moment to sit down and be like, okay, start from the beginning, because I know you're not natively from the States.
Right.
So we've got that to talk about. Then like just move into coming here and then finding space within the community. And she's an amazing artist. And I'm really excited to talk to you today about it.
Thank you. It's been an absolute trip. I
Yeah.
mean, it really has been a whirlwind. I never could have predicted or seen my future turning out this way. I really just think that we have flipped the script. We've broken out of the mold. I have broken the social norms. I had to change my entire way of thinking. And I tell you, it's been magical. It's been really cool living this new mindset, new life.
Yeah. So talk to me the process of coming to the States. What's up, Dan? Hello, Gloria. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, so I am originally from England, born and raised near London. And when I was 12, I believe, I moved to Geneva, Switzerland from my stepfather's job. We got the opportunity to travel. So I was in Geneva, Switzerland for 2 years. And then he had another opportunity. Hey, you want to move to America? And I was like, well, sure. What am I going to do? Stay here?
Yeah, right.
So
it's too expensive here. We got to go.
Yeah. Time to go. So he had another job opportunity in America, and we were set to move here 9/13/01. But because of 9/11, we had sold our apartment and we were grounded for 2 weeks before we were able to fly here.
So just like live in the airport. Like all I could think of is that Tom Hanks movie where it was the worst movie he's ever done.
Staying in the airport.
Yes. That's horrible.
Yeah. But no, it wasn't too bad. We were in a hotel for a couple weeks. And then when we moved here, I was straight into school. My whole dumpster fire of a life was, it had all happened. I'm a child of trauma and abuse and all the things that, you just wouldn't want your teenage daughter to go through. And when I came here, there was never that support. I just continued spiraling, like, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? Why am I like this? Da, 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 da.
And you're also an artist. And I feel like that's part of your art. I mean, obviously art is your outlet eventually, But when you're misunderstood, you're a kid of trauma, you've got now you're leaving countries.
Everything.
There's a verbal breakdown here, and then you don't have safe people in your space.
Yeah. And
Like,
not to mention constantly packing up and leaving everybody. Like,
yeah.
attachment issues. Yes,
Yeah.
for sure. But yeah, I actually have no background in art. I didn't go to school for art. I knew nothing about art. I just 3 years ago, I kind of had to just leave my career of teaching children. So when I was 9 years old, I knew I wanted to work with children. I don't know if
Mhm.
that's because I was having such a hard life as a child. I
Mhm.
felt compelled to help children when I was older.
Absolutely. I mean, I
Right?
think we all
Yeah.
jump into that space where we're like, we're going to be better than this.
And this
We're
is
going to
what I
fix
should do.
this.
Yeah.
This is it.
But fun fact, I have a learning disability, as well as being deaf. So I knew I would never get into the public schools.
I always forget she has a hearing, different, hears differently. And then she's like, my headphones, should I take off my hearing aids? And I was like, oh, wait a minute. I forgot. I'm really sorry. Just because you would never know the way you are.
Yeah. So I am 80% deaf in both ears. And you don't know what you don't know. And
It's kind of a good thing.
I just got hearing aids when I was 34. I am approaching 38. So I went my entire life 80% deaf.
Wow.
That changes a lot of my situations.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear what was going on around me. I was just there. I was just in places. So yeah, 3 years ago, I kind of went down this downward spiral, and I was painting rocks when COVID started. And people were like, wow, your rocks are so cool. I love what you're doing. My husband was like, have you tried sealing them with resin? Oh boy, resin. I went down the resin spiral, and you know what? There's no going back. It's been an incredible journey. Again, no background, just practice, playing around, finding what you enjoy. And then people are like, oh, I like that. I'm like, oh, you do? Here's some more.
Where did you meet your husband? I feel like he's definitely like a backbone for you. He's like that
He's like your
constant.
cliff.
Yeah. Really, her and I are very similar. We're like gypsies. We're like, oh, that looks pretty. We'll go over there. It's shiny. And our husband's like, all right, just tether me to the pole.
Tell me where I need
I'll
to
be
set
here.
things up. Tell me what time to be there.
We do have similar people in our lives that keep us grounded. I feel like that is a similar situation that we find ourselves in. Good morning, Scott, Donna. We are lucky that we have found a person that tethers us to a little bit of reality, but allows us to still go.
You need those people.
Right?
Absolutely. There's no way I could do what I do without him
Yeah.
doing the behind the scenes things.
Yeah,
You know? And he doesn't
totally.
want to put himself out there.
No.
He knows what he needs to
Yeah,
do.
right. Yeah, exactly.
Sit puppy in the corner. No, my husband is wonderful. He is literally my biggest supporter. He doesn't know what has been going on the past few months, but he is here for it. He
Yeah.
is following my dream. Okay, let me take it back. I didn't even know this was a dream of mine.
Well, that's it. That's what we went from like this to that. So like, okay, here you are painting rocks in COVID, not really knowing what you're going to do with your life, and you're not connecting with the kids that you wanted to connect with.
Yeah, I left my 16-year teaching career.
Yep.
I mean, you can imagine what that does to you. You're teaching, and then next thing you know, your body is having a physical reaction to teaching, and the panic attack started, and I had to.
Is that what it
job.
was for you? It was just like there was something wrong here.
Yep. And it wasn't the kids. The kids have always been wonderful, even the most challenging. I specialize with kids with disabilities and trauma. It was all the higher up stuff that goes on, you know,
the bureaucracy. That's weird.
Yeah.
I feel like this week has a theme and I wasn't even planning it. Yes. Good morning, Tanya. Tanya from Mindful Goat Yoga.
Tanya.
Sidebar.
Morning.
I've got to thank her so much. We had an amazing day, and it was one of those things where I put her in touch with another one of my friends that had an idea, and I didn't know Bobby was going to get so Bobby with it, but Bobby really took this to a whole nother level. Tanya was like, I'm here because I was told, and thank you for sharing your goats with us, because you put animals and children together and something pretty magical happens. Whether it's trauma, whether it's children and animals, there's somehow all three of those together is just a magical healing space.
Yeah.
That happens.
And then people are like, oh, what do you mean you're doing yoga with goats? It's not it's not necessarily the yoga that we
Mhm.
are trying to accomplish during that session. It is the entire experience.
Mhm.
It's that therapy. It's, it's just, it's so many things. It's not just doing yoga poses and feeling good after.
We're going to go back to that point in the story, but
Yeah.
one point with our goat yoga situation where Lauren and I were friendly, we knew each other, we knew of each other, and we knew that we were doing EForAll. And then all of a sudden one day she was just like, "I think you need to go to goat yoga with me." And I said to myself, "I think I need to go too," because I was so overwhelmed in my own business, in my own thing, and I feel like you felt it, saw it.
You were going through a lot at
Yeah.
that time.
And for whatever reason, there's she really was a stranger at that point.
Yeah.
Says, "I think you need to come with me on a Saturday." And I was like, "Okay,"
And you did it.
because I needed to.
And you showed up
I did.
and you did it.
And it is more goat, less yoga. But it was just the point of putting myself out there. I need to do something that is not work, that is not with my family, that is just for me to be in a healing environment. And it was even taking 5 deep breaths and sitting with my eyes closed and stretching was just magical for
Yeah.
me, because I needed to have that grounding space sometimes that
Right.
we all get so busy. And especially this time of year where we get so flipping busy
Yeah.
and stressed out, and that low level that you're not feeling. You saw it for me.
Yeah.
And was like, "Red flag, come here."
Let's go. Let's go see Tanya.
But in a very gentle way that I didn't even notice it until afterwards. And I was like, "She's
And
sneaky."
now look at us.
I know.
Now look at us.
So we were there in that moment, and I really appreciated that. And I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever
Yeah.
said that to you. So
Oh, thanks, Steph.
here we are once again. Tanya, you're bringing people together with your goats. So we
You are.
thank you for that. And there will be another performance if you want to see it. December 17th, after Tanya goes away for a much needed vacation, and well deserved at that. You've been working hard.
Ooh, where's she going?
Disney.
Ooh, fun. I
I know
didn't
the
know
most magical
that.
place on earth. Where is she going? Where else?
Of course.
Most expensive place on earth. That's where you're going. But be in the moment, finding unconditional joy. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Good morning, Lynn. Good morning, Beth. Betty just had her birthday yesterday. Happy birthday. And I know you've been stressed out too. I hope you're still doing the pool stuff. We were doing what I called old people soup, which was water aerobics. And
Okay. Yeah.
I love it.
Appropriate.
It was really fun. And actually, I got a good workout from the water aerobics. I'm actually back to week 4 of the gym, everyone. Thank you very much
You're
to the
killing
ladies
it.
over at Quench Fitness. I really feel like that makes a difference too.
Yeah. You've got to have good people, like not just
Find
people
your
that-
tribe.
Yes, find your tribe. There's some more of those coming through EForAll too. Kaylin,
Yeah.
she's doing Misfits, and it's not just working out. I'm so glad this new generation of people have just figured out it's not just about, looking all. It's a whole community.
Yeah. Well, I think COVID taught us that after we abused our body because it was the end of the world and we're drinking and we're doing all the things. And we're like, "Oh my God, we're never going to live through this."
coming out of this.
And so here you are painting rocks, putting resin on
Mhm.
rocks, working on things. And you're
And it
like,
brought
"Maybe
joy
I'll
to
do
people.
this." Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So then you found playmakers. So
Mhm.
maybe talk a little bit about playmakers, because I don't think we see the brand Life is Good everywhere.
Yeah.
And we're like, "Yeah, sure, life is good.
Life
I'll
is
wear it on a
good.
t-shirt." It's not like the Varney t-shirts of the 80s. There is a methodology behind the Life is Good walk.
There is actually an entire foundation. It's called the Life is Good Project, and I was first introduced to Life is Good Playmakers in 2011, and just the things that they said about joy, and they specialize working with children with trauma, so they were all about how to engage with those children, how to just switch the mindset of being a typical teacher. How do you really help the kids that need it most?
Mhm.
And I've stuck with the program. They are just so inspiring. I, spent those 10 years dealing with my own suicidal depression, and a lot of other things. And so it was one of those groups that I idolized. Oh my gosh, one day I hope I can think this way. One day I hope I can live my life this way. And so 3 years ago, I really just switched that mindset. And
Yeah.
of course, Something
You
had
have to be
happen.
ready for it. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot of things, and I really want to stress this once again. There are so many programs, there are so many groups, there's so much help when you're ready for it. When you're ready for it, just ask for it. And it's wild
It's
the stuff
crazy.
that comes out of the woodworks that you need when you're finally like, and I'm not one of those manifest people, but that's okay too if you are. But I am definitely one of those. If you put yourself out there, you will get the things that you need in return. You just have to be willing to say, I need help.
Yeah.
And that's not easy.
Yeah. And you can change. You can change your entire mindset.
Yeah. So talk to me about that mindset switch, because that's not an easy thing to do.
No.
Because you're safe in your trauma, you're safe in your hateful, you're safe here. I know this.
Yeah.
This is something I know real well. I can be horrible to myself and I can live in this space. It's really easy to do.
It's so yeah, it was a very normal way of living.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna be brutally honest. I mean, I tell my story the way it is because there's nothing to hide. Um, my past few years, up until 3 years ago, I was always looking for a way out. I didn't do drugs. I wasn't alcoholic. I didn't have any of that. It was just literally the trauma and the things that I deal with had just built up. And I was just constantly looking for a way out. If I was driving, I was looking for a way out. If I was hanging out with people, I was looking for a way out. And I'm talking end of life way out. So 3 years ago, my husband and I were in the woods looking for my hearing aid that I had lost.
Ugh.
And yeah, and I really wasn't looking for it.
Yeah.
That was my day. This is when you really need to realize that you have to check in with someone, even if it's a friend. Um, that day, I kind of had said goodbye to everything. I put on my bracelets. This is the last time I'm putting these on. Put on my shoes. This is the last time I'm putting these on. I said goodbye to my kids. This is the last time I'm saying goodbye to my kids. So we end up in the woods, and just as we're leaving, my husband keels over in excruciating pain. And in that moment, I was like, oh my gosh,
Not
I
me
can't leave
anymore.
him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't lose him. Like, what? My entire brain in that instant switched focus to him. Oh my gosh, I got to get him better. Turns out he had kidney stone complications. He ended up having 2 surgeries. And that was honestly the worst and best day of my life, because that next day I literally woke up like, I got to live.
Yeah.
I got to find my purpose. I was 34. I quit teaching of 16 years. I just spiraled out of control. Like, I'm 34 and I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. Right. And so
I'm extra that, and I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. Good morning, Midday Madness. Sam, hey Tanya, and Don saying no one should be stressed out, especially money is tight. Our mental health is way more important than stressing out over gifts.
Yep.
And here you are having this gift of your husband keeling over needing 2 surgeries to get you to be like, whoa, wait a minute. All right. It's almost like breaking the fog for something like that to happen. You're in this haze of this is it. I've made my peace. I'm over it. The feelings stop though.
Yep.
So
numb.
You got that jolt.
Yep. So that happened. And I used to actually go down to the ocean near where I live to contemplate stuff.
Mhm.
And then after that day, I started going down to the ocean, finding my freedom and appreciating it. And I just literally, when I got hearing aids, it was the first time I heard birds. It was the first time I heard the microwave, the oven, like all these different things. I could finally hear them. So I started going to the ocean and really appreciating that. So before it was a place I wanted to escape. And then it became this place where I could go find my peace and my freedom. So it really just switched. So then I started hiking. I didn't know how to hike. Now I've got pictures of me on the top of the mountains.
That's awesome.
Because I just had to start doing little things that were going to change my current mindset. Kind of like you doing the quench, just little things that
That's exactly
joy.
it. Yeah.
And then you crave more joy. And so then you start to put the negative stuff aside and you keep gravitating towards the joy. And now that I've spent 3 years really working on myself with no appointments, this has all been self-healing.
I think that that's also a nice thing to say is no appointments. You're blessed with the space to have the no appointments, which is really, really nice. Tiffany says, thank you for sharing your message. Good morning, Tim. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't in a money predicament to have appointments. It's too expensive. Let's
Yeah.
be real. Most of us are just living check to check. It's
Mhm.
survival of the fittest, right?
Well,
Just keep.
I keep showing up like a bad penny, so I'm surviving.
It's gonna happen somehow. But yeah, it just changing that whole mindset, and now 3 years later, to finally gain more confidence and be in a place where, you know what, I can share this message.
Yeah.
I've done it for myself. Now I'm in a place to help other people find their joy.
And it's so frustrating in the day to day. And if you're in the day to day right now, making those small incremental changes, I applaud you. You're here today chatting with us. So thank you, because it's not freaking easy and it's stressful, and you fight with yourself and you fight with your space, and change is so uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're constantly talking to yourself.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
growing
Oh,
up,
my inner head is like, she's such a bitch
Yeah.
and she is horrible to herself.
growing up, we always used to be like, oh my gosh, this person is talking to themselves. They're crazy. But
Right.
you actually learn you have to talk to yourself, because you really do have different voices that are suggesting
Yeah.
things, and you have to talk to yourself.
Yeah. I know. It's crazy. My husband's like, "Are you talking to me, or is that just like the?" He's like, "You know, you're saying it out loud, right?" I'm like, "I know. Don't talk to
It's
us.
working.
We're busy." Good
That's like
morning, Lisa and Patricia. Have a great day.
when you were over there typing your thing, saying it out loud. I'm like, okay, is she talking to me?
No,
Nope, she's working like I work. I'm like, that was so refreshing.
I really do. I really do talk to myself out loud.
So drop it in the comments. Who else talks to themselves in order to get things done?
It really is the only way. I'm like, okay, listen, my fake audience. Like, I always have a fake audience, even if it's cooking. When I don't want to do things, I have a fake audience.
That's hilarious.
Because I create the people that I'm like, listen, we're doing this together. I'm not alone. I don't need you. You would think I was an only child. I'm not. But I think my siblings are just not interested in anything that I do.
No.
That I just had to make up my own.
Yeah. It's so fun though, isn't it?
Or maybe it's a product of my own family, because I just have such a huge family. So when I have one or two people, it's like having, we don't have enough here. Let's make up our own
let's
audience.
Do more. Add some Muppets. I'm going to come to your kitchen one day.
Seriously.
Today, we're going to cook some rice.
I love that. Lynn puts her hands up. So thank you for sharing. Us too. We all appreciate you here.
We do.
And my own studio audience. It's great. So you found Playmakers and all of this space.
Yeah. So when Playmakers, so we both did EForAll.
Yep.
You know, it's really funny. I'm going to tell you something right now. I've known you for 3-4 years through the Kindness Festival.
Yes.
The first time I met you.
We met at a completely unrelated event.
I had been listening to you on the radio, and then I met you. I'm like, oh my God, it's Stephanie.
You're too funny.
I idolized you for so long because of your positivity, your smile. You were one of those people during those times, like, how can I be more like her?
Oh my gosh.
Right? I needed to channel that. And I feel I know.
Good morning,
we
Rob.
also learned that we both hate compliments. So
I know, right? I'm like,
right
I don't know what to do. It makes me feel very weird. But I also appreciate that, because I feel like that is what positivity brings, and like just kindness. And it was nice to be at the Kindness Festival and have I connected with Kristen on a complete different level also.
Yeah.
She had come into the radio station to do a PSA for another radio station that was in our building.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then we immediately connected, just because of, you know what, I'm one of those people that no matter what the day is, no matter where I am and what my space is, I'm going to put on a smile and I'm going to go and try and have the best day I can possibly have. Even though there's a dumpster fire behind me, we're going to just change our mentality.
Yep.
And I don't know whether it was a military minded thing or if it was, I was always like this. I feel like I was always like this. I try not to give anything that much space so it can't be taken away from me.
Do not let things take your energy.
Yeah.
There are so many things in the world that can piss us off and make us mad, but we're in control of that. So I shut off the news. I don't watch the news. I cannot take the weight of the world on my shoulders, because there is nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
I can only help those in my community, right? and the rest of it is just distraction and noise.
And I think that that was another thing that was my aha wake up call when I was laid off in 2020, and that did happen. So I could remove myself from the news now. Wait a minute, I don't have to listen to this because I'm not being bombarded with it every 30 minutes because I have to update it or check on it or look at it or to absorb it.
Yeah.
It's been a different space of almost detoxing myself from that
And it's hard because
indoctrination.
yeah, at first you feel really selfish, like, oh, I don't know what's going on in the world. But at the end of the day, before social media,
Yeah.
we didn't know what was going on in the world. We
Yeah.
had to focus on our families and what we were doing at that time in that
Yeah.
moment. And that is so important that I had to kind of, we have to simplify it. We
Yeah.
really just have to dumb it down and focus on what's in front of us. What can I control? What can I change?
Good
And
morning, Justin. Justin is another healer.
Justin.
Oh yeah, you know Justin.
Yes. Actually, I have invited Justin to the new space that we'll start talking about in a little bit. And he's going to come do a clearing for me and a drum circle.
I love it.
Yeah. And again, all these connections have happened through you putting yourself out there, doing the things I wouldn't normally do,
Mhm.
and all these magical things are
Well,
happening.
but that's exactly it. So I shut that off and I just started really connecting right at home.
Yeah.
This is the first thing I had to do is heal my family and spend time with my family.
Yes.
And that was uncomfortable because I was like, "Hi, I know we've lived together, and I've birthed you, but we don't really know each other."
Yeah.
So like that's what COVID made us do, come together as a family. So that was good. Lisa, it's better than any fake audience than some male radio hosts have.
Yeah.
Well, we could go there too.
She said what she said.
She did. So yeah, that's where it began. And then it started, in my town. And then, trying on a lot of hats and
Yeah.
trying on. And I talked about this yesterday when I had Rebecca in the studio with her new program, but it was just a lot of no thank you tastes. Trying things on and forcing myself to at least give it a whirl and see if I like this.
Yeah.
Do I like this? I don't like this. Do I like this? I don't like this.
Yep.
And I found EForAll. Actually, well, Kristen found me on the side of the road. I think we were doing like a pop-up gig at Cafe Chew. And my friend Lisa said, you two should talk because she's got a program. And I'd never run a business before. No one in my family, we're not entrepreneurs.
We're not smart enough for this stuff.
We're just worker bees.
Yeah.
My mom's a nurse, my dad's in elevators, my whole family is worker bee, military, just whatever trade.
Yep.
We're just blue collar. We work and we work until we die. And that's what we did. We had a nice life. Here's my pension.
Yeah.
Bye. I didn't know that there was another way to spend your time.
Yeah. There's actually
Other than checking a time clock, doing that time for work, and then checking out at the end of the day.
Yep.
So I was so thankful to have EForAll, not only for that, but the community within EForAll.
Yeah.
And then you and I we've talked at length about that, but I found the community within our community. I had already had those connections from the radio situation. So it was kind of weaving all of those pieces together.
Yeah.
To I don't have the ego. I'm not beholden to this organization or this organization or this one. I love all what they all bring together, but I don't necessarily have to only work with those anymore. So that was also a mindset change.
Yeah. And the other mindset change, I'm seeing a huge shift in this. Collaboration over competition.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is my biggest thing. My entire business is built on my community's input and collaboration.
Yeah.
And yeah, EForAll, I had no idea about business before I went through EForAll program.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I say it all the time. And I literally tell Kristen, I'm not exaggerating. I owe you my life. You have changed my entire life. Like,
it's a big mental space change.
It is. It's all mind work. Again, free therapy.
I know. It really is. And you got other people that you can talk to that are in the same exact space that you're in, which is really nice. Good morning, Dave Hegner. Happy sunny Tuesday. Sure.
Oh yeah. Sunny.
The S word.
What was the other S word we were talking about this morning?
Lauren saw snow on the way over here.
It was snowing.
I'm not ready.
I mean, I can't really say I'm not ready because I mean, are we ever ready? Uh,
I guess.
I'm one of those. There's no bad weather. It's just how you dress for it.
Yep. Well,
So,
that's really what it is.
yeah. Yeah. 'Cause
Mindset, friend.
mindset, because every day with pre-K, we were out on that playground. It did not matter the weather.
No, Jennifer Christian. Woot woot, EForAll. She's even found a new career within EForAll.
Oh,
So that's
Jen.
awesome.
Yes, Jen is now the new program manager. And I actually had the opportunity of filling in for Jen's shoes of being the EForAll peer support specialist.
Very cool.
Unfortunately, that was very short-lived. Pivot.
Not all things are good for you all the time. Dave says it's sunny over there in Dennis.
Oh, must be
Yay.
nice.
I know. We'll enjoy it. The snow's coming at you. Or maybe it was just a weird flurry that we had here. Also,
Yeah,
possibility.
yeah.
I had smoke on the water on Sunday. I just shared that one with someone was like, "Where's that on Cape Cod?" I'm like, "My pond in my front yard."
Right here.
Right there. So I think that that's also good. That's the no thank you taste. I tried it. I thought maybe I could be really good at this. Okay, it's not for me, and that's not a fail.
Yeah.
That's just a marking something off that I is not right for me.
Well, I think what happened was the group had already formulated, because this whole shift was happening after this group was together.
Yep.
So then I kind of come in, plot myself in. I'm, oh, hi, this is me. Let me just help you mentor. But then the studio happened. And so it was like, oh my gosh, my whole life is about to shift again. I'm so sorry. I wanted to be a part of this with you guys. I
Yeah.
support you. I'm still going to be there for you. But I'm opening up a collaborative art studio and
Yeah.
lounge. Like, what?
So Lauren has really been looking for her space. She's been raising money. This woman, talk about your swim. Like the things you've done for money, fundraisers. I mean, yeah, that sounded
Hey
awful.
Woo!
But we're thinking alternatively right now, right? And we're trying to figure out, all right, that's not making me money. I don't like charging for that. It's a very uncomfortable thing to talk about money and pricing. And when you're starting a business, figuring out your pricing, I feel like is the hardest thing to do. To value yourself at what your self-worth is really difficult to put a dollar amount on that.
And I'm not a salesperson. That's
No.
another thing that makes me cringe. I don't want to ask for
That
money.
must be the one thing that EForAll people must hear the most. I'm not a salesperson. Well, guess what? You are now.
You are now.
Because you're in business for
You want to
yourself.
make this work. So on that note,
It's
instead
hard.
of being like, hey, can I have some money? I started swimming. So again, back to that mental health issues. I hated the ocean. Everything in the ocean creeped me out. Like, if it was going to touch my feet, I would freak out.
That's why I sit with my feet up in the air, because I'm like, if it can bite my butt, then I can lose some of that. That's fine, but not my toes.
Not my toes. Leave the toes alone. But then I started
I can't be the
challenging
only
myself.
one.
I was like, all right, so let me just push the limits. Let me swim a little further and a little further and a little further. And before I knew it, I was like, wow, this is really cool. Once you figure out how to swim, I couldn't swim. I didn't know how to swim. But once you figure it out, I could just keep going. And so I was like, maybe this is a way to raise some money. And so I put it out there. I'm like, hey guys, I am going to swim 4 miles. It's going to take about 4 hours. Who wants to, and the support from the community was overwhelming. I raised $4,000 thanks to the people that believed in this mission.
It was so awesome.
Believed in creating a joyful space for the community. And yeah, now it's happening. You guys supported me and you made it happen.
Well, and also the pivot. You had your mindset. You're like, this is the thing that I want. Good morning, Penta. Thank you. Kelly, I've had a lot of no thank yous. It's great to simplify what works for your soul.
Yes.
Totally.
Yes.
So you had this, I want this VW bus. This is where it's going to be. This is where I'm going to put all of my art stuff in here, and I'm going to go to where people want me, and I'm going to go here and create magic.
Yep.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, it's expensive.
Some things have to change. So before the bus, I was actually looking at brick and mortar on Main Street. Not the location I'm moving into, but I was looking at it. I met with the real estate agent, and at that time, there was no financial way I was going to make it happen. It just wasn't coming up with a monthly lease. It just wasn't feasible at the time. So I pivoted and I was like, okay, what about if I do a bus? I'll be a traveling gift shop and joy seeker, right? I'll go to these facilities. I will create a space for people to have fun. And then the price of that went up to $50K.
Yeah.
$50,000 to get a fully refurbished bus, and I'd have to learn how to drive stick shift.
I'll teach you. It's easy.
I mean, that's just a joke in
It's
itself.
it's so not. You got this.
So when that was like, okay, maybe this isn't really going to work, I pivoted to a VW inspired retail trailer,
Mhm.
and now we're talking about 20,000. And I was like, oh gosh, and I'm really thinking the logistics. This is going to work. Am I really ever going to bring that kind of money back in? And then I said, oh man, I really wish I could get a space on Main Street. Maybe I am supposed to get a space on Main Street. And I know you don't believe in manifesting, but I did throw it out there on the internet.
If you throw it out there, it happens. What you call it what you want.
Yeah, and I don't even know if this gentleman saw my post, but I got a message saying, "Hey, I absolutely love what you're doing. I want to support you. I don't really know how I can help you, but here's some money."
Right?
What? What? I literally had to wake up the next day and say, "Hey, so I'm about to put my life on the line. Are you punking me right now?"
She did. I mean, obviously, when anybody said there's always strings attached, you know what I mean?
You would think.
And it's really hard to just accept when people give you compliments, when people give you money for something that they believe in that you're making, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
When you're a maker, when you're an artist, when you're someone that's valuing themselves,
Yep.
when we're here putting a price tag on something that you've created, you're not going to sell off your babies. No, I'd like to, but I don't think anyone would buy them. It's really hard to put a dollar amount on that. So here you are, and you've got this amazing creation that's changing people's lives. It's giving people a space to go where they feel safe, where they can create, where you've changed their space.
Yeah.
And now someone believes in that mission, and you're like, okay, are you lying? Are you going to take it away? That's also our whole life of trauma, our whole life of,
Yeah.
oh, do you really mean it
Yeah.
this time? Is it real?
Am I
And it's
actually
real.
worthy of
Yeah,
this?
yes. That whole space that you have to go to
Yeah.
before you're like, okay, this is happening.
When it set in, I had a whole day, probably 3 days after he messaged me. I had a whole day like, what am I doing? I can't do this. I can't run a business.
I
What am I
hate that person in our brain,
Ugh, yeah,
right?
imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And it took a full day of really like, oh, I was kind of down on myself. But then the next day I was like, no, I got this. Like, this is going to be amazing.
Yep. I have a full naysayer day before 2 days of, well, we're doing it.
It's gotta happen. Got no choice now. They're all
Yeah,
watching.
right? Yeah. That's it. Holding yourself accountable is also another thing that I liked about the EForAll. I'm sure
Yeah.
the playmaker's life is good. I'm sure there was a whole
Yep.
space in there.
Oh yeah, yeah. So as I was graduating EForAll, Playmakers was starting their course. So Playmakers it's currently open now for anyone that wants to join. It is Playmaker University. And for us, it was a course. It was a refresher course for the OGs. But if you have not been a part of it, you can join now and learn and be a part of this family. So once EForAll ended, I went straight into the Playmaker course where I had just recently graduated from that. I was absolutely honored to have Michael Franti serenade us at our graduation. Like,
I do love you.
he is my idol. Wait, actually, Life is Good got us tickets to go meet and greet him a few
Very
years
cool.
ago. So yeah, for him to pop up in his living room on his guitar writing a song for us was just more of those connections.
He's
more of
so
those-
joyful though, and everything that he does, and really lives the way he writes his songs.
Yeah.
So
And the cool thing about that is that's how the whole community lives. They all
yeah,
have that kind of mindset. Yeah, we all have shit. We all got stuff going on.
right. It's
but-
not hippy dippy la la land where we pretend nothing goes on.
Yeah, no.
That's not it
We've
either.
all got stuff.
Yeah.
But the important thing is you got to survive each day. So you know what? Try to do the best you can. Try to turn that mindset around of, finding joy in all the things. And
Yeah.
it takes practice, it takes work, but I can tell you it really does work.
We've covered a lot today. I saw there was a study that said American happiness, the dollar amount that they put on American happiness was $1.2 million, I think it was.
Yeah, I think, and that was what generation
No, this was in general.
in general?
So then it started going through the different generations, and I burst out laughing because it was like, oh, millennials need more. I was like, no one's surprised by that. Sorry, millennials. Americans put a price on happiness. 59% of Americans think money can buy happiness. And a new survey on the subject even puts a number on it. So the average American says they need 1.2. Gen Z says they need the least amount, $500,000. Boomers, a million. Gen Xers, 1.2. In terms of gender, women would be happiest with 880,000, where men want more, 1.5.
So greedy.
Greedy needies.
Greedy.
But yeah, I don't know necessarily. Yeah, money buys the things that make you a little bit happier, but I don't think that they're going to buy your
No, because I'm
happiness.
still broke, but I'm really happy now.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Like I still can't get a car yet after the wreck, but I'm happy. It's so different. And I'm just waiting for the money to start coming in.
Well, you got the space to make it happen, and it's not necessarily a huge money maker,
Mm.
but it's going to bring people into your
Yeah.
space
Yeah.
that belong there.
I mean, I taught for so long, it's never about the money. So it's nothing
Yeah,
special.
right. So talk about Oplaysis Spaces. You've got this great new space. How do people find you? How do people support you? What is going into this space? What are you looking for? Because I know
Yeah.
you're like me. There's always like little bits and pieces that come with the whole. So talk about your bits and pieces, please.
Right. I will talk about my bits and pieces after the show. So,
Later. That's for later.
Oplaysis Spaces, collaborative art studio and lounge, is exactly what I say. It's a collaboration. There is nothing about this studio that is me, myself, and I. My angel investor has now actually become my business partner. This gentleman has had the same kind of ideas that I do, and he is ready to reignite his joy. And so he's jumping 2 feet in with this entire lounge. We will have, when you walk through the doors, it's going to be a gift shop with like a seating area. There's going to be artists, all local artists and creators. I'm going to keep it very local.
Mhm.
So if you are looking to put stuff in a gift shop, please reach out to me, oplaysspaces@gmail.com. I have about 6 gift shop vendors already set up to go in. There will be pieces on the wall. We're also going to be hosting classes and workshops. So if you are creative and you would like to put your skills out there, you have something that you can bring to the community, let me know. Again, just send me an email. We want to start bringing back some of the things they've taken away from school systems. We want to
Mhm.
bring back the home economics. This isn't just a place for children. We want to do workshops that will cater to all ages. We're going to have bingo nights, game nights, dancing. There's going to be a music lounge. We have collaborated with some incredible musicians, and they are going to volunteer their time and help set up a music studio.
I love it.
So people can just come and jam. Kids can come jam.
Yeah.
Adults can come jam. It's not an entertainment
Right.
facility.
No, it's
It
a
is a
space to
place
go and
to,
entertain
yeah,
and
yeah,
meet new people that are
and
of the same
learn new
mind.
things and try new things. And, if you don't like this activity, you might like the next activity. You don't really know going into something if you're going to enjoy it
Right.
until you do it.
Well, and that's the thing. A lot of people don't have that space to be able to say, am I going to like playing guitar? Do I have to buy hundreds of dollars worth of equipment before I've decided I don't like it anymore? And now I have to sell it. Like I don't like that being a bar to entry to being able to try some skill, a
Yeah.
craft, a hobby where you just can't afford to do it. But I've always wanted to try that. How many times have you heard someone in your life say, I've always wanted to try that?
And the other thing is, but I'm not a creative person.
Hmm.
I'm not creative. No, it's got nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Um, Practice does not make perfection. Practice makes progress. The more that you try something out, you progressively get better at it.
Yeah.
I wish I brought you the rocks when I first started painting.
Yeah.
So bad. So bad. Like a 5-year-old could have painted it. But practice makes progress. And then people are like, oh, that's really good. I want to buy that. Like,
Your
really?
art though
You
is really
do?
incredible. If you've not seen, I mean, she'll paint storefronts.
But it's taken a
Your
lot of
art is
practice.
really, really good. I mean, pretty
Thank you.
incredible.
I appreciate that. You can check it out on oplaysisspaces.com. So yeah, we're looking for hosts. We're looking for people that want to lead workshops. We're looking for people that want to put gifts in, their products in the gift shop. And we're going to be hosting birthday parties, network meetings, vendor events. I mean, you name it. We have
You
a
just want the space being
1,700
used.
square foot space for it.
That's
Yep.
and it's a huge space.
Yeah.
So I love that you're opening it up to whatever creative idea you've
Yep.
got.
Yep.
Because I think it's important. There shouldn't be a bar to entry to be able to try these things, which is nice. I think during pandemic, my husband didn't know what to do with me. And he was like he loves to craft. It's his ADHD brain. He's just got to do something with it.
Yep.
Whether it's a painting or this new thing, or I'm try this, or I'm gonna noodle with this, or I'm gonna lock pick, or I'm gonna whatever random puzzles or
Yeah.
games, he is just like the games guy.
Yep.
And I started watching his process. For me, it's just kind of, I like the beginnings of things. I like setting things up and then watching what happens with them.
Yeah.
I don't like just forever doing those things. And for him, he's also that way, but until he figures it out.
Yeah.
Like there's a problem to figure it out. All right, I already figured out the problem.
We're good.
So he kept trying to say, you need a hobby, you need a hobby. And I don't necessarily like, I'm not a hobby lobby kind of gal. I like being in the moment, watching everybody do it and talking to them. That's my joy. I'm like, why'd you like that? Why'd you do that? What's your life story? What's happening?
But then you did the goat yoga and you were like, oh, this is really fun.
I needed that for my mental space to just stop my brain from making things.
But that's what I need the art for. The art shuts down my brain.
Yep.
I stop thinking about all the other things going on and I'm just focusing in that moment. It doesn't even matter what it comes out like. It can turn out like crap and I'll burn it after. But in that moment, my mind is shut down from all things negative and I am just focusing on what I'm doing. And I think that's why it's so important to have so many outlets.
Mhm.
You know, it doesn't mean go buy everything for every single hobby, but dabble in it. Find
that,
what
Cliff?
brings you joy, Stephanie.
So painful. I don't buy anything. I still have my first communion money. I don't like doing anything. I'm like, oh, something will happen. I'm like the nervous, not risk taker. Yeah, when it's like a big risk, I'm like, we're jumping. Let's do this.
Let's do it. 2 feet in.
It's a very bad space that I'm in. It's either all or nothing, and I'm working on my incremental changes right now. So that's my journey at this moment in time. You're here starting this new space, and you're opening it up to everyone else, and I think that that's a really incredible, exciting thing to do.
I'm so excited. I
Yeah.
mean, one of the mentors from EForAll, I'm going to throw him under the bus, was like, I love EForAll. However, there was one mentor that said, well, who's your competition? I'm like, I don't have any. He's like, no, really. Who's your competition? You have competition. Like, no, my business is collaboration.
Yeah.
Like, I literally am not competing with anybody. Like, some people may have competition with me, but I'm inviting you to come be a part of it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this all by myself. Where's the fun in that?
Well, it's not necessarily you too. You're going to have to deal with competitive people.
Yep.
Because that is life. And I think that is a definite situation that I found myself always worrying about the competition. Da, 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 da.
Yep.
But now it took my husband to say to me that you're not doing that anymore. That's not your competition. You don't have. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. You have just created this
like one of those.
beautiful
I just made
thing.
my own.
Yeah.
I don't like any of that, so I made my own.
Because
And
when
now I'm
life
here.
gives you lemons.
We're making lemonade over here, and that's what we're doing. And I'm really enjoying the ability to do so.
And it's amazing. You're connecting so many people. I mean, you are literally the reason I am here. I never would have done this. We talked about this before the show. I deal with such anxiety, hence all the scars and dots on my face. I'll talk about it. People have tricks where they pull their hair. I pick my face with subconsciously. I don't even know if I'm doing it. It's just a nervous tick.
Mhm.
It's just tick. And so the fact that I'm actually sitting here, cool as a cucumber, having the best time of my life with you right now, I want to thank you for providing that space.
I love that. And I'm glad that you feel comfortable in my space, because I know that you kind of had a moment where you were getting some press and you had to go on Born TV and you were so nervous.
So nervous.
And then when all the cameras shut down,
Instant panic attack.
that's scary.
Right? And like I hadn't even left the seat. Bill's sitting right here. I'm sitting here. We're having this interview the whole time, holding it together. And you see this in a lot of children. A lot of children will hold their shit together at school.
Yeah.
And when they go home, they're completely different because they're letting all that angst out. So the
Yeah.
moment those cameras stopped, boom, tears, panic attack, shaking. Took a minute, 2 minutes, get over it. I'm good. You know, it's weird. I can't explain it. I can't help it. It just happens.
Yeah. But you've worked on the
Worked
skills.
Through it.
Yeah, to be able to let it, okay, I'm gonna need a few minutes. Just let me be here.
Let me do it. I'll be fine. And it was cool. And I was like, hey, that was great. Thanks for having me. And
Yeah.
now this.
What do you think is like the biggest resource? So like the one thing that really has made a difference in your space?
The community.
Yeah.
The community of support. You'll get one or two naysayers here, but honestly, that community of support of, wow, you're really doing a good thing and I want to be a part of it. And I'm like, come on, join the ride. I don't know what's happening. I don't know where we're going, but it's going to be fun.
Come on in. Well, I'm a good time.
Hop on the VW bus. We're going for a ride. Oh, so back to that. I didn't get the bus. I didn't get the trailer, but I do have a VW bus counter being shipped to the studio.
I saw that. I was like, wait a minute. What is this?
That is our welcome counter. It's going to be so cool.
Well, I love it. It's the hopes and goals. Sometimes when you've got your mind set on one specific thing and you've had your mind set on a specific thing for so long, well, I can deal with a piece of that in this giant space.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be cool. I had one growing up. I had a VW bus growing up. We went camping and then I had a VW Beetle. And there wasn't much good things that happened in my childhood, but those two things really stuck out. So for some reason, I wanted to kind of recreate that again. People seem to love it.
Well, it's your joyful item.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have that, whether it's a teddy bear, a blanket, a little thing that you got from your past that just brought you comfort.
Right.
So it's your comfort item.
I mean,
granted, it had to be a VW bus. I mean, it's my comfort. It's my emotional support VW bus.
We might have only gone camping in it once. I don't even know. But that one time that I had a good time stuck with me.
Lisa says, I love this so much. Lucinda, Rachel, thank you so much for coming out, wrangling goats. I got to see your beautiful face. She is over at Adequate Acres. Her family owns the what is it, a greenhouse, but she's my namaste yogi. She sometimes has yoga stuff in there. She is also connected with Tanya, and it's really wonderful to see all these amazing connections that the people in our community have when you see the different layers of their person and how they interact and how they've been also, and I lovingly say grasping at straws, but just reaching out to the tether. It's your web to keep you safe. You know what I mean? It's that place, your balance,
right?
We're okay. I'm holding on to this. This is my area. I'm going to send out my little tendrils. I'm going to hold on to these pieces.
Yeah.
And I think we all do this, and it's just really wonderful to see that and see the interaction from the different groups and the different community members and the different places in which you overlap with your neighbor. I don't feel that we have gotten this close in a really long time. We used to have neighborhoods. We used to have neighbors. We used to have people that watched our back. We used to have all of these things, and we've gotten away from it because we're on devices. So now we're here.
So I'm actually really proud of my neighborhood. We have created that. I don't want to toot my own horn, but
I love how you said we, but me.
I hate owning it, but I do know.
Yeah.
I'm old school and new school. So yes, a lot of stuff has to be done on social media. When I was about to start this journey, I was literally getting rid of social media.
This is the good of social media that we're having the conversation with. And there's a lot of bad out there. And once again, if you choose to let yourself seep into that, then that's your choice.
Yes. And if you have to choose to avoid those things.
Positive connections, everyone. We're striving for them every day.
Yup. We're trying.
But you did it and you connected with our friend Lisa that way. She showed up and she's like, I didn't know these people from any, I just saw that they were having a walk. It was in my area and I just went and we had a lovely time and I met so many new people.
Yeah. And in my neighborhood, so not just social media, but I will go around flyers door to door. I mean, there's one guy that called me out for breaking federal laws, but
Is it really? I didn't touch anything.
I just let you know we were having a scarecrow competition. Like, oh, but you know what?
There's always going to be a
There's
Mr.
always
Wilson
gonna
in the
be
bunch.
one, but the other 100 people put out scarecrows. So it was really cool.
Yeah.
To bring them all together. So we have people that watch out for each other. We make baskets for our neighbors when they move in. So we have I always say we live in an 80s neighborhood and we've
I love
really
that though.
tried to create that. Our kids' bikes are everywhere. Our kids are up and down, hockey nets in the street.
Yeah, well,
I
and
love
that's exactly what we've created with my son's basketball hoop down there, and we've got the whole
Yes.
neighborhood of kids and little and big. And I told you
Yep.
we've talked about how Cody's got his little basketball lessons, and I got little chalk for them to write it. And yeah, it's a dangerous little area. We're at the end of the street. People come whipping around that corner, but now they know not to.
Right.
Because we've set the precedent of there are little kids hanging out at the bottom of the street, and it doesn't matter how old they are, but that this is where they're going to be.
Right.
This is their chosen area.
Kids do exist. They've always existed.
Yeah. Well, this used to be a really
like an asshole.
good neighborhood for the trick or treating and all of that. And we used to connect that way. So now we're finding other ways to do so.
Yeah.
And I really think that it needs to happen. And yes, it does happen on social, but it should be happening in your neighborhoods too. And go meet your neighbor. I don't care if it's weird. I mean, I know
it's so weird. It's cringy. I didn't like it. And then you know what? I kind of like it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we're a really cool neighborhood.
Right.
For the most part.
I've talked about my neighbor's dogs. Angela's out there barking up a storm over there. They've all got people names. It throws me all off, but whatever.
We would have doggy play dates. Like, oh, your dog's coming over to play in my yard. Okay, send him over. Literally, I text my neighbor. Yep, send Molly over, and she'll come play in the yard with my dogs. Okay, I'm sending her back.
I love it.
Great.
We had our we haven't gotten a chance to get to our crazy crime, and I just wanted to mention our crazy crime because the hot police officer is now back. Officer Waddell, I so apologize to you for looking so handsome in photos, but there is one really, really extra good looking Barnstable cop. And so when I was opening up my my social media machine this morning and I saw him, and I don't even know if I can present the photo because I feel like I've got, where is the photo of him? There he is. But the guy behind him also looks like Ryan Reynolds, and I it's throwing me all off.
Creepy.
So the two of them, there he is. They got pulled over for it was a car that was unregistered. It was unlicensed. Pounds of marijuana inside here. And then all anybody could talk about on social media was the good-looking cop. And I was like, this poor guy. He's married, he's taken. But I got sucked into a stupid thread on social media sitting there watching this poor guy and the animalistic women that were making their comments. You're animals. I'm also here watching for it, eating popcorn. Good morning, Christy. It was great to see you the other day. All right, let everyone know how they can get involved with Oplaysis Spaces as I got off on my tangent. But I definitely wanted to address our crazy crime element since you're filling in for Hank today.
Yeah. You've got to bring in the hot cops. So yeah, OplaysisSpaces.com is the website. I'm still working on it. Of course, this is all new. Literally just this past week, my entire life has changed. I'm going to be at the studio almost every day getting it ready. If you're interested in being a part of it, shoot me an email, oplaysspaces@gmail.com. You want to know what Oplaysis is?
Yes.
Okay, so Life is Good taught us to create an oasis type play space in the classroom. And so I did that. I had a teepee with pillows and twinkly lights. And when a kid was feeling unregulated, I invited them to go to the teepee, do your thing, calm down. When you're ready to learn, because you're not ready to learn when you're emotionally distraught, then you come back and join us. And when I quit the field, I was in my garden and I'm like, oh my God, as an adult, I need to create my own Oplaysis. This was when COVID was starting. Like, how can I do this? And it started with getting free flowers from Home Depot and planting them.
Is that where that
my,
came from? I was like, all of a
Ooh.
sudden, this one's running a greenhouse. I'm like, I don't know what she's doing, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, I heard some tips and tricks and way you can get some things, and
I love it.
And I created my own Oplaysis, and only then, when I finally had created this space for myself, I then felt comfortable to go ahead and create that for other people.
I love it. Lauren, we will be seeing a lot more of her. You can find her at our Christmas markets. We've got 3 more left. We're in the Mashpee Commons. Speaking of creating a little oasis, we had a lot of fun over there. Makers, artisans, crafters. We've got food, we've got entertainment, and it's just a homey little environment that Knockabout Beer Garden has gifted us a space to use.
The atmosphere was incredible.
Yeah, and it's so fun. And just the joy of watching you work with children and bring this whole space, because when the kids do it, the adults do it, and it was really a magical space. And I'm looking forward to it this Sunday, 11 to 3. Come and see us. For Lemonadio, we've got a couple of events going on tonight. I'll be over at Shipwrecked for trivia. It is a crazy Tuesday night. I'm telling you, there's a wait. There's a sign that says Stephanie Viva Trivia. If you're staying for it, you have to wait until almost 7:30 because the seats, we need the seats.
Where did you go?
It's a lot of fun. So that's 7:30 to 9. We've got a brand new night. And our friend Bree, who is part of Lemonadio now, is taking on a second night of music bingo because she is loving it.
Wow.
She is also one of those people that makes her own magic. And we're going to be over at Wicked. So she'll be at Wicked tonight from 6 until 8, her first music bingo. So please go support someone. Go out and just have a really fun night. Shut off your brain. Do something that's just mindless, but also listen to some music and just get in that joy factor. It's free fun and you can play along with it as much as you'd like to. I really suggest you do so. Find your joy. Find your Oplaysis.
Yes. Yes.
I love it, Lauren. Thank you so much. Please come back.
Thank you. Absolutely. Wait, we're going to be doing this each week, right? Yeah. You're going to see more of this.
So Wednesdays, where are we going to be coming from?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Well, are we going to record here? We're going to record somewhere else?
We're going to go there.
Wednesdays, we're going to just do fun stuff. So we'll see what happens. We don't know what's happening.
She's going to be my regular Wednesday lady. So we're really looking forward to this commitment, whether we're going to be here in your space.
Who knows?
Hanging out with Kristen, however we get it done.
Yeah, we're going to get it done. It's going to be fun.
I know. So more of us on Wednesdays, everyone. Set yourself an appointment, 7:30, 8 o'clock every single Wednesday. Lauren's going to be my regular for a while. I'm pumped about it. So thank you. Support us. Give us a like. Give us a share. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we'll be talking to you soon. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. All right. That's off, everyone, on Lemonadio.